Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Northern Winters, Southern Summers and Northern Winters, or is it the other way around?
Well, I guess it's summer in the north at some stage and winter in the south at some stage. But
exactly.
Not right at this stage.
Hi, Mark. How are you today? How are you this Monday?
I'm very good, Anders. Had a day off today. Did a bit of computer work, did a bit of housework, had to go and pick out some new vinyl for the kitchen. So, been a rather, I was going to say fulfilling day, but not really, just, another day.
Yeah. Well, it's nice when you have some upgrades to the house, isn't it? I mean, I always love that part of
it. It is.
Yeah.
So now it's just a matter of picking some colours, which I'll leave to my wife because it's more important for her to like it than it is for me to like it. I said, only the floor, I'll just look down on it when I mop it and sweep it while you're at work and I'm on my day off. So, that's the main thing. Happy wife, happy life, they say. So
that is true. You said it was in the kitchen that you're doing this? Yeah.
Yeah, I had an insurance claim. Our dishwasher leaked and it went down the back of one of the kitchen cupboards. So you ring the insurance company and they want to replace everything, flooring, a couple of the cupboards, the kickboards on the bottom of the cupboards and things like that. There's a little bit of swelling on the bottom, but I can't see much damage. But who's to say that within 6 months it's not all swelling and all mouldy underneath where the water went? But so we've got to replace some cupboards and some flooring and some boards and things like that come, I think, end of January, start of February at some stage when they all get back from holidays. So, so I had to go pick out the vinyl today to go on the kitchen floor, which is handy because the vinyl that's on the kitchen floor was there before we bought the house, and we've had this house for 20 years, so it's probably 30 years old. So it's it was a good opportunity to update it a bit. At the same time, the insurance company were pretty quick to up the price on my policy, though, straight away. So,
of course they were,
as they do. So,
Naturally. And who's doing most work in the kitchen? Are you a cook or your wife? Or
we probably both take in turns, but I probably cook more, and I've always cooked more. I enjoy cooking, and just quietly between me and you and no one else that's listening, I wasn't a huge fan of my wife's cooking early on, so I used to cook. So most of the times, but now she's a good cook. So
well, I've learned the same in my marriage. It was my wife's an excellent cook and enjoys it very much. Very passionate cook, and as the years go by, you sort of learn your little things here and there from watching and being told what to help out with in the kitchen. So it's I've learned a few things as well. So now I actually enjoy it. And during the week, my wife's away in the office most days during the week. So she comes home late, and I enjoy having cooked and be ready when she comes home. So it's you find your little routines, and
that's one of the ways we organise it. Whoever's home earliest on that day is the one that does the cooking. It's normally in my wife's favour to do less cooking. I'm home earlier more days than she is, but hey, it works out. And some days, it's easy to cook spaghetti. Other days, something more. If you've got more time, things like that. We all like good cooking.
It doesn't have to be fancy at all. We should actually talk about this because there are countries with better food than others, I guess you can say. I don't know.
It certainly is.
We both traveled a lot. Which is there a specific country where you'd say the kitchen in this country is particularly good?
I have a couple of standout cuisines that I really enjoy. I would have to say Vietnamese is probably
probably
one of my favorite, very, very favorite
That's
foods in the cuisines
I
in the
agree.
world too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Everything from pho, from the soups they make, to the banh mi, which is the crusty French rolls that they fill with different meats and pâtés.
Yeah.
All the way to the rice paper rolls and the bun cha and lots of different things like that they make. I find Vietnamese it tastes really fresh and it feels really fresh all the time when you eat it.
It does.
So Vietnamese is probably my standout cuisine. I have a default.
It's always so, like you say, fresh, but it's so green and crisp, and
Definitely.
I mean, these rice paper rolls.
Yep.
I mean, with all the herbal leaves and everything. I think it's basil or
the lemongrass,
the lemon,
coriander.
Coriander.
You know?
It's so nice. Wow. I mean,
tastes very, very fresh.
Yeah.
Have a default favorite cuisine, which would be Indian. So you can't go wrong. There's plenty of nice and good Indian dishes you can find anywhere, like butter chicken and tikka masala and things like that. Good bit of rice and some naan bread that you can dip away at some of these fantastic sauces that you.
It's very fulfilling as well. Yeah,
it is. But I'm also a huge fan of cuisine from your area of the world. I like German, Polish, Czech food. Like food that's very meaty and very carbo rich, I guess.
Yeah.
At times,
the Central European dishes. I mean, like a good goulash.
Yes,
it's meat, minced meat, or no, not minced meat, chopped meat, and it has a paprika sauce to it, and these dumplings or potatoes or whatever you can.
The potato pancake in Poland, it's always served on a potato pancake.
Yes.
Fantastic. Every time I go to Poland, it's right on my list straight away. A plate of goulash with a potato pancake. Hence, whenever I go to Bavaria, a pork knuckle with sauerkraut or potato salad, is always right on my list as well.
But you are right. It's extremely heavy. I mean,
yes.
On a hot summer's day, you just can't eat it. It's just it's a winter hearty
definitely
food. Yeah, absolutely. I
some of my standouts.
I'm absolutely in favor of Italian food. I mean, you just mentioned spaghetti earlier. And what I find fascinating about Italian food is that it does not have to be very, very elaborate. You can use just a few ingredients. Really, just cook some spaghetti, cook it properly, obviously, and then just good olive oil and some chopped herbal leaves or something like sage, sage. Or basil, or just oregano, or some tomatoes. It's really just that, and then obviously a lot of freshly grinded Parmesan cheese. That's really all there is to it, and it's on days when things are a little bit hectic here at home, and we don't really know what to cook. We can always go to the basement and just haul up some pasta and cook it, and within 10-15 minutes we have a good meal. So,
are you a fan of the pizza?
Yes, I am a fan of the pizza, and in fact, we have a pizza oven outside on the terrace.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's your go-to toppings on the pizza?
Ooh. Well, also, actually, I tend to keep it simple. Just a good tomato sauce, which my wife cooks to perfection, and it just broods for hours on the stove. But then, really, just some mozzarella cheese and some basil. But one sort that I really like is the pizza bianco. It's it's a new, maybe it's not new, but something new to us, really. They started, instead of the tomato sauce, they make a ricotta cheese sort of foundation on top of the dough, obviously, and then you put thin slices of potato on it, and thyme, and then you have a pizza bianco with potato. That's very delicious.
Sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the $1 million question is, so does pineapple belong on pizza?
No. Yes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I have no idea who. I asked an Italian this question, because some people say that the Italians started this thing. But the Italians I have asked, they say, "No, are you crazy?" This was the Americans who started that, but I don't know. And in addition to that question, Mark, I also have we also have the debate here in Europe. Corn, corn. Does corn on pizza? Does that belong on pizza? I would say
no, but I could eat corn on a pizza. It wouldn't bother me, but it wouldn't be something I would. Well, another question about corn. I've been to Asia. Does corn belong in ice cream? Because I have had corn in ice cream, because corn is sweet by nature, so it's a sweet corn, and ice cream is sweet. And ice cream's usually sometimes coconut ice cream. So I've had sweet corn on ice cream before in Asia.
I've never had it, but why not? There are variations or ingredients in different variations where you, as a Westerner, you think this sounds strange, but if you go to Asia, they spice things up. They mix things in different ways. So why not corn in ice cream? Yeah.
Well, why not corn on pizza too? I guess one thing about pizza from your part of the world is I would call it minimalistic, I guess, compared to what Australians and maybe Americans have on pizza, which I like pizza minimalistic your way, because we would have maybe 5 or 6 or 7 toppings on a pizza.
Yeah.
Over here, where the toppings is, twice as thick as what the base is.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and things.
Yes.
Like that. I think less can be more sometimes, and more should be less.
That is the Italian approach to most dishes.
You know what I mean.
Because the ingredients are made to perfection. They have the best tomatoes. They have the best herbs. They have stuff like that. The Italians are really good on that. So they tend to deal with all the ingredients with some amount of respect for the original taste in the ingredient. And I think if you mix things too much, then there's a tendency that it just, well, it will certainly make you full, but will it really taste better?
I think there's a tendency in Australia, I'm not quite sure about America too, to put anything you want on a pizza and make whatever you can. Like I've had a hot dog pizza where there's bits of hot dogs chopped up and, onion and mustard and cheese and sauce, to make it like a hot dog,
wow.
that you would find, but on a pizza, and a cheeseburger pizza, there's all these, anything that they can put on a pizza. Sometimes in Australia, they will. Hence, it's probably why I'm not a big pizza fan in Australia. I find the crust you can get thin crust, which is what I like, because it's not so filling. But most of the crusts are, that American style, really deep pan. Where that sort of fills you up, and all you can taste is the crust, like eating, it's like eating a sandwich, I guess. Lots of, it's really doughy and filling. So yeah, I'm not a huge pizza person. I eat pizza when it's, when we go somewhere, but I would very rarely order pizza. It's not one of them things where I go, okay, I haven't had a pizza for a long time, I need to order one. It's not my go-to as a takeaway, like a lot of people like in Australia, I guess. So, but pizza's nice, but it's not my thing. But I do appreciate a good pizza when I actually.
This should be this will be on the menu next time you and the family come visit, which I hope you will. And Alex, my wife, she will prepare the dough and everything, days in advance, so that it can raise and the yeast can do its work, and it's an art, really. I didn't appreciate this earlier on before we got the pizza oven. That a good pizza baker is actually that's art. That's really art.
Look out! I've got a bird flying around in my shed.
Hey, yeah, I saw something fly by.
I've got a pigeon flying around. Okay, he can sit there for a minute, and I'll deal with him. You go out.
This is live action going on here in the podcast.
Sitting up behind me, up on a box on top of a cupboard. So that'll be interesting later to try and get him out
Did you leave the door open earlier?
I did leave the door open in my shed because it's not cold. So, but I'll try and open the curtains after when I finish here, and hopefully he might fly back out. He's obviously flown through the curtain, and I don't mind if he's sitting up there and he's not flying around my head. So that's not too bad. So that threw me off. So
no,
now you're a man that loves all things Italian, aren't you? Like,
yes, I am. I am.
Favorite. So what do you put that down to?
Well, the relaxed lifestyle, I guess. They have this. I know from many people I know in Italy, they say, politically and I guess government-wise, things are very complicated, but they have this relaxed way of seeing things, at least to what I've experienced in Italy. It's just, what we don't make today, we can do tomorrow. Let's just enjoy. Let's just relax a little bit, and so they have this laid back approach, and that suits me really well. I guess the food, obviously, and then I've just had many great travel experiences in Italy. So it's a beautiful country. If you have never been to Italy, you should certainly put that on your bucket list. It's just. To me, it's almost like paradise on earth, Italy.
So do you have a favorite city or a favorite
that
you go to in
the region Tuscany is where we've been the most. There's a city called Lucca, which is in the Pisa area. People familiar with the Leaning Tower of Pisa will
I have laid eyes on that.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and we have a small hotel in buildings, in medieval buildings, actually, dating back to, I don't know, 1400. There's a hotel, and I've been coming there for 25, 30 years. And it's just very central to whatever we want to see in Tuscany, and it's still in the country, so it's peaceful and quiet. And the only thing you hear when you lie by the pool in the sun relaxing is some gardener snipping the hedges, or a dog barking in the distance, or something like that. So that's the whole. It's so healing for your soul to go there, because there's some kind of originality to you feel so connected with the times, because it seems unchanged through centuries, that you just you enter this medieval city, this medieval area here, and it's just nothing. It's as if nothing has happened for centuries, and that has a healing effect on me, because in the hectic everyday environment that we normally find ourselves in, you can get stressed, and you things are so fast, and then almost everything stands still when you go down to Tuscany, go down to Italy. So I really enjoy that. Is the bird still flying around?
The bird's still behind me on a box on top of a cupboard. So I'm just checking to make sure he's still there.
Yeah.
I've got a real hankering to go to Sicily. So
Yeah.
you ever been to Sicily? I reckon Sicily.
No, I haven't been to Sicily, but I've seen lots of film footage from Sicily. It's very, very beautiful, and they have the best lemons in the world, according to
Palermo
themselves.
and Catania and these sort of places would be quite nice to visit, I think.
Yeah.
So it's high on my list of places to go.
It is one of the nearest countries for us to go, because in southern Germany we can literally be in Italy, particularly in northern Italy, within 3 hours, and it's just we like to go hiking in northern Italy. It's just on the other side of the Alps before it slopes.
You have
down.
to go through. Italy doesn't border Germany, does it? Or
No,
it
it doesn't. No, we have to go through
short trip
Austria.
through Austria. Yeah,
Austria, but really, just Austria is just like 45 minutes drive through in that particular part of Austria. So it's just a corner of Austria that you're crossing. But you are crossing Austria enough to have to pay the full Autobahn fee, obviously.
yes.
Yes. So
fee.
and you're going through the Brenner Pass,
Yep.
mountain pass. That alone will set you back like 10, 12 euros, just that stretch. So, yeah.
There's like I've driven and I've driven with someone a few times across the Czech Republic, and they're very notorious for their highway fees and their highway passes and tickets. And I've actually watched a few videos on it. And so what the government does, the government have a little backhand deal with some operators who set up their booths, their toll booths, just over the border from Germany and from Austria, and make it look like this is where you have to buy your pass off these booths. They make them look official.
Yes.
But in retrospect, they're not. They're run by a third party, much like if you buy a visa and you don't go directly to the government, you buy off a third party and then you pay, 50% extra. And the government in the Czech Republic are well aware of this, because they have one official ticket machine at the first service station across every border, but this little ticket machine, the size of an ATM, is tucked around the side of a building.
Yeah.
So you can't actually see it, but the ones that they're getting a kickback from are in plain sight in like a little building or a wooden kiosk like you would find at a Christmas market sort of thing, selling their passes at a 100% markup, and people are not aware that this is not real. Like,
man.
there's a YouTube guy I watch, and he's from Czech Republic, and he goes around talking about how all the rip-off schemes and stuff like that are in Prague and in different places of the Czech Republic. So quite interesting. And like I said, I know this for a fact because I've actually bought tickets at these kiosks before, especially the one that goes in from Germany. From the Bavarian side, they're up above a bit that goes in towards Prague and Pilsen. So I've seen these in action.
So do they charge a different price for the?
Yes. Yeah, they charge a different, nearly 100% markup compared to what the official government machine charges. But like I said, the government machine that the government put there is tucked away, so no one can really see it. So the government are obviously getting kickbacks off these other companies that are selling the passes, because they let them put their booths right at the very entrance or in the car park where everyone can see them. But the official machine is sort of tucked around the side of a building, whereas you'd have to go and look for it, and you wouldn't know that it's official and the other one is actually not.
So there's a whole industry evolving or developing around this. Well, the Austrian vignettes that you have to put in this mark, you have to put in the front.
Yeah.
They have the price stamped on them, as far as I can remember. So there's an official price, and the service stations that will sell them already here in Germany on your way to the Austrian border, they charge the same. They charge the same.
That's good then.
So they probably buy them at a lower cost, I guess, but the official price is the same. So yeah, but 100% markup on these, that sounds crazy.
Speaking of toll roads, Melbourne is home to a number of toll roads run by a huge conglomerate called Transurban that runs tolls in Sydney, Brisbane, also in America. So they're a massive big company, and apparently 50% of their profit comes from toll roads in Melbourne, because we are one of the most overcharged cities in the world. So for me to go from my house to the airport and back would cost me $30 Australian. So it's at 18 euros to go across the city and back. And which is probably the space of, say, 30 kilometres of tollway each way. So 60, probably 60 kilometres in total is about 18 euros to do. I'm a little at all odds and on all sides in terms of toll roads, because I can understand and appreciate the need to limit traffic. It's really a big problem for bigger cities, for metropolitan areas. On the other hand, in Australia, you are really dependent on your car, because of the distances. And Melbourne does not have an airport rail link anyway, so you can't catch a train to the airport. One of the only major city, I'm not quite sure if there's any other cities in the world with 5 million or more population that's in a developed country that does not have an train link to its airport. I'd be very surprised if there was any other 5 million plus people.
No, it's unheard of.
Train link. Yeah,
are they working on that?
Apparently, yes. It's in the pipeline at the moment, but it's been in the pipeline for the last 10 or 15 years. So apparently they're acquiring land and building stations at the moment. So this can happen, but they're doing a lot of that. They've just signed another contract to build more rail. Victoria's the state with the most debt of any state in Australia. I think we're like $200 billion in debt over budget.
Man,
like this, which goes back from COVID. But we keep building things, especially in Melbourne, because Melbourne keeps growing and it's the biggest city in Australia. So this is what's happening. Finally they're building a rail link. Apparently, no set date on when it's going to happen. It's not going to be direct. It's going to go from the city to one other station and then onwards. It's going to stop somewhere along the line at some growth corridor, so people can get on first somewhere else and then go there. So at the moment, there's just a bus that runs every half an hour. So the bus is not too bad. I think it's like maybe $20. So it's probably €12, I think, to get to the airport or get back from the airport. So it's not too bad. So, but yeah.
But we have the same thing in Munich. We have the airport is about 40 kilometers north of the city center. And there's a train going, but not directly. It does go to the airport. There's a station at the airport, which is the end station. But it, as you say, it's same thing like you do in Melbourne. It stops like 10, 15 stops on the way, and it takes you from the city center to the airport roughly a little under an hour to get there. There's no direct express train to the airport, which is, even for a city the size of Munich, about 1.5 million inhabitants, I think is unheard of. I mean, we should have had this ages ago when they built the airport, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago now. They should have thought of this, but there's a lot of environmentalists and nature habitat. Not unions, but people, protecting the habitats for wildlife. I mean, they're against this, and to this day, they're still. I think they have finally gotten the agreements for a third runway here in Munich. I think they're building it, but that took a long time because of wildlife organizations slowing down the. And I can understand it's always a heated political debate about infrastructure, building infrastructure, and then protecting wildlife. It's always this.
It is, and the longer they leave these things, like especially in a city like Melbourne, if they've got to acquire, land, it costs them a fortune to acquire a corridor of land that's 40 kilometres long. That's going from the city.
Yes,
out to the outer suburbs of Melbourne. I mean, how many houses is that, and how much money is that costing them to start off with before?
Oh, the bird is flying again. I can see.
Yes, the bird is flying again. The door, bro. Okay, so he's still flying. Yeah, so to compulsory acquire land, I guess, is a huge part of the cost of all these things. And in hindsight, if you had have done them 50 years ago, but 50 years ago it still would have been expensive by that time as well.
Yes,
to do it, I guess. But it's very. I don't like Melbourne Airport much. It's probably one of my least favourite airports.
Do you only have one airport in
Melbourne? Yes.
Really? As a city, 5 million, the size of 5 million inhabitants. It sounds a little.
Another runway at the moment, so.
Really, because it sounds like a little. I mean, little too little.
Yeah. And Sydney's is building its second airport at the moment. It's going to be opened in 2 years, 18 months, something like that. But most of Sydney has, even though Melbourne's now bigger than Sydney's. I guess is more well known on a world stage. So most people tend to fly into Sydney and not so much into Melbourne. They then fly to Melbourne domestically from Sydney after that, I guess. So, but yeah, it's not a great airport. It's a fair way out of the city, which most airports are these days, because no one can build an airport close to the city anymore. Like I said, there's no public transport out there. The price of parking is atrocious. There's not that many great facilities within the airport. It takes me an hour to get bags every time I come home, which absolutely frustrates the heck out of me, because after sitting on a plane for so long, the last thing I want to be doing is sitting in an airport waiting for luggage to come out. But this is what happens. So I don't know. They're continually doing upgrades, But yeah, it's not my favourite airport in the world to travel through, I must say. But I don't have much choice.
Well, no, you don't. Not if you want to travel. I mean, I'm just thinking of the city of London, or London, the London metropolitan area. I think there's about, I don't know how many million inhabitants, but they have like 3 or 4.
Gatwick and Luton and Heathrow and
Gatwick,
yeah.
And
Gatwick, I've never been to Luton though,
and they have the City of London airport as well, which is literally on the Thames bank.
Yeah,
it's not very big. I think it only has domestic flights these days, but still, they have airports, and no matter where you are in London, you can always hear a plane fly over. There's a constant buzz of airplanes in the air. It's one of the things you really notice when you come to London the first time. Is what? Why are these planes always? You can always hear a plane. Yeah.
I can't say I've flown into London that often. I think I've only flown into there like once or twice. So I don't really know. I can't even think why. I've flown into Manchester a few times, but I think maybe London twice. I've flown into Heathrow once, but I never got out there. I think I got a connecting flight, and I've definitely flown into the other one, into Gatwick, a couple of times. it has a direct train line, which was
It
quite good
does,
from memory.
yeah.
So that you can just go into the city on, and that's what you want is the direct train line.
Obviously, you'll pay. I find it rather costly, to be honest. To the Gatwick Express is
Yes, that's the one.
I have no idea what we paid the last time. I have an amount like 40 or 50 pounds for all of us, with three of us. Well, two adults, and our son was not that old at that time, so I don't think we even paid for him. But still, it was rather costly.
Well, I think that's how they get you, don't they? Like, because they know you've got to take this service. Like, I think I remember that. Is Munich costly to get to the airport? I have a hankling memory that it was a little bit expensive for four of us. It is when we went there.
Yeah, you can buy an airport ticket, which is a little more, a little cheaper, but yeah, it will set you back to go to the airport around €15.
A person or for a group? A person.
Person.
Yeah,
a group ticket. You can buy a group ticket for up to 5 people, I think, for €30 or €35. Maybe?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I reckon I remember that it was about €30 or €35. We went from that station just near that hotel we stayed at, where we had tea at that Augustine Brow House that night out there. And I remember I would have just bought. See, this is another tourist thing. The tourists don't know. I didn't know that there was a specific family ticket, and luckily the person at my hotel told me this. Otherwise, I would have bought individual tickets, which would have cost me probably €60 or something like that instead of this group ticket. So that's once again one of the good things about staying in a hotel and not necessarily an Airbnb is you have someone to tell you these facts and figures before you make the mistake of overpaying, I guess.
Well, that's the thing, particularly about German vending machines for train tickets or public transportation tickets. They are so complicated. I mean, even people who have lived here for 25 years and people who've lived here all their lives, they sometimes don't understand the public transportation zoning system and the prices and why you have to pay an extra fee for that zone. And it's just so complicated. I mean, if you go to London, to the tube, they have these Oyster card.
Yeah.
That you just swipe when you go in and you swipe it when you go. And you can't enter or leave the train station without swiping your card.
Yeah. Melbourne's got one similar called a MyKey, but they're I think they're trying to do away with it, and they just want to go to straight tap on with your credit card, like you would tap and go, just bang. But Melbourne also, Victoria for that matter, you can't spend more than $12 a day on public transport. That's the limit. The cap.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere. I could go from here to Warrnambool, which is 500 kilometres away, and it would only cost me $12.
Yes.
That's because that was some election promise that they had to get more people using trains. So so the most you can pay, you go on 20 trains and 10 trams in the day if you want it, but it's only going to cost you $12.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I think this is great. I mean, we have we talked about this in a previous episode, the Deutschland ticket, which is €50 a month, going up to €58 a month after New Year's. But still, keep public transportation at a low cost in order to get people in. That's the only thing that really makes sense, I think. So which makes it even harder to understand why it has to cost a fortune to go to the airport.
Yes, definitely.
Because obviously the airport trains are run by private companies, so they are not a part of
the toll roads.
Yes.
Much like the toll roads, yeah. So they build them, they pay for them, then they can charge you. The government says, well, for the next 20 or 30 years, you can charge the public whatever you want as long as you maintain this and you keep the system running, you replace everything that needs doing.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Charge whatever you like, and them poor suckers out there, they'll just continue to pay it because they have no other choice, do they?
Exactly right. Exactly right. In my native Denmark, in Copenhagen, well, in general in Denmark, they have been implementing a public transportation ticket system like semi-electronic. You have to buy a card and you swipe it when you enter the station and you swipe it when you leave the station. However, you can actually enter and leave the station without doing it. It's not like in London, for instance. You can't even enter because the slots won't open for you unless you swipe the card. In Denmark,
Melbourne's like that.
Yeah, in Melbourne, in Denmark, we don't have these slots. You can actually you can enter the train without swiping, and it often happens that people remember to swipe the card when they enter, but they forget when they leave.
When I get off,
that the ticket is still like open.
Yeah,
and that will allow the companies to keep charging. To the maximum amount per day
for that day, yeah.
So this is a huge discussion. Why
That's
not?
what happens in Melbourne as well. Like
Yeah.
if you don't swipe off, you'll get charged $12. That's it.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you swiped on, but you might only have gone, one train station that was like $2 really, but if you didn't swipe it off, it'll be $12 off your card.
Exactly.
The end of that day.
But the thing is, it's a very typical Danish approach to things. They insist on inventing their own system every time something huge and big public has to be bought, instead of taking off-the-shelf solutions from like London, where you just
costs them 3 times as much to develop it, and it's littered with bugs and problems that take another 5 years to work out, and then
it's the same thing every time, and it's tax money just down the drain,
I hear.
Yeah,
I hear. It's all happening here. We get I don't know. All governments are the same. Like,
this is a can of worms that we.
Yeah, it is. I don't listen to the news much on purpose. For this whole reason of, like I said, politicians, they're just in it for themselves and they just fight amongst each other over issues. Even if it's right, I've got to say that you're wrong. Even if I think it's right, it just goes back and forth, and no one wins. There's a number of huge debates going on here at the moment about nuclear power and all this sort of stuff like this. And, and the government are like, no, we want renewables. And the opposition are like, yeah, but nuclear is the cleanest power. And the government are like, no, but it's going to cost too much. And, you just go, just build it. Other countries use it. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. The thing is, but you are right, just quickly off topic. I mean, nuclear is clean power, and the newer nuclear plants are actually much safer than the ones that, exploded like 30 years ago, 50 years ago.
That's it.
This is a whole new technology. The problem is that building a nuclear power plant will take you 15 years because there's so much technology and there's so much security and safety that you can't just decide to do it and then next year by this time you'll have it. It doesn't work like that.
No.
So it's
And just quietly, I think Australia is one of the largest exporters of brown coal in the world. So our government are probably like, we don't really want to close that market totally because there's a lot of tax money coming in from from selling brown coal to China and India and and all these third world countries that don't really care too much about the environment, but
most likely closer to the truth that you would like to know. Yeah,
that's it.
Anyways,
all about the dollar, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. You have been listening to Southern Summers and Northern Winters. This was episode 7, I guess.
7.
Yeah, wow. And you are getting even closer to your travel day for. Are you home this time next week, Mark?
Yes, we will be on next Monday night, and then I leave on the Tuesday night to go to Melbourne for the night, and Wednesday morning we will be off.
All right, so next week we'll still have you in your shed.
We'll be on. Yep.
Hopefully without
and
a
we
bird.
might even. Yeah, hopefully. I'm going to go bird chasing in a minute because he's sitting up on my cupboard and probably leaving his pigeon marks everywhere.
Yes.
So I will chase him out. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. As usual, we appreciate everyone that takes the time to listen to me and Anders ramble on about whatever takes our fancy at whatever minute of the podcast is going on. So
yes, wherever the conversation goes. Yes, definitely. And please do subscribe and write us with questions and comments. And
we'd love a question.
Yeah, tell us where you are in the world. From where are you listening? I mean, it can be anything. Can be anything. So until next time, have a nice week and take care. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.